So this is the grasshopper, and I'm going to tell you about my little stroll from Canillas to Competa on what I call the middle track out of 3. This is back in July 2021, so starting in the early morning because it's pretty hot, and the idea was to go up above the 2 towns, enjoying the sights of birds like this, the house martins. The town is full of their nests, and yeah, I know the nests are a bit messy, but the birds are beautiful to see, and enjoy the views on my way up and over to Competa, and then come back on the lower route. I'm really rather proud of this image of the house martin with the bird wings. I think that they're so hard to catch because they're actually really very fast flyers, not as fast as the swifts. There's a reason swifts have the name swift, but still pretty difficult if you don't have a good camera setup, and I'm just an amateur on this side of things. Got up to the top of Canillas, and there's Santa Ana, and near it is this statue. This is relatively new, but it's a recognition of a canillero who was a victim of the Nazis. It's lovely to see them put in a recognition to that man, and also in memory of all victims of war. These things are important, they matter. So up at the top of the village, you head up, you carry on with Santa Ana at your back, and you're going towards the upper water deposito. Open water is obviously an attraction to wildlife like these barn swallows, another summer bird, and they really enjoy hanging out by the water tank because they can pick up the insects that fly above it, as well as dipping water out themselves. I said it's an attractor for wildlife. That includes the frog spawn that you find in the grills just coming off the deposito. I should add that the water is cleaned before being piped through for human consumption. But look at the arms popping out of this little tadpole. That's kind of fun. And you also see snakes and dragonflies and anything that will get attracted to water. And going up this little path to get to the upper track, I saw a rattle grasshopper. I was really excited. This isn't a species I see often. Look at that thick body, vestigial wings, and the little dark mark on its pronotum. So that was exciting to me. Of course, in July, the biggest restriction on wildlife in this climate is always lack of water. The oleander is actually a sign that there was water here because they only grow where there's a good supply. But that is the thing that you see all the time. It's nothing to do with cold. The temperature is high enough all year. It's always whether there's water that will make things happy or not. This is another species. I see this species all the time, but look at this expression. Look at that. I think this is how I look in the early morning. That is my expression before my cup of coffee. This is an uthka, which is the egg case of a praying mantis. I wish I'd met the layer. This is just cutting up to the middle track. And what's this again? Oh yes, oh my goodness, this is the wonderful, fantastic spider, and look at that little white line in its web. That's a classic of this particular species. I didn't tell my companion, she would have completely freaked, but it's a magnificent spider. It is not common here, but I have seen them before, and yeah, they are rather startling. Now I'm up on that middle track, which I mentioned. I'm turning right and walking away from the mass, looking down at the view over the valley. So you've got Sayalonga and Corombela down there. And I'm almost level at this point with Canillas behind me, more or less. My Canillas is the best village of the whole of Andalusia. I'm not biased, not at all. There's a long shot west to the Peñón de los Enamorados, beautiful mountain. I must climb that. And this is Gaviara, so that is the main hill, sadly naked after a fire in 2014, behind Competa. And it is a beautiful hill. I just miss the pine forest that there once were on it. We get a lot of orange butterflies, not just wall butterflies, but also the beautiful Spanish gatekeeper and many others indeed. Butterflies are one of the insect species I see pretty well all year round. I know that you would expect them to die off at certain times of year, but no. Look at this wild carrot. Most of them I see are completely white. That one's pink. A couple of silhouettes of grasshoppers, a pair of grasshoppers on the road. Here I go right to go down to Competa. It's a mistake to keep going up, and that's a look back towards La Maroma, the main mountain. And that's the first outlying glimpse of Competa itself. and there's the bell tower of the church. You can on this walk actually cut off into the mountains and go up to see more, to climb Gaviara, to climb Gavaland, to walk along to the start of the silk route. But this was a shorter walk. Too hot to walk in July, that kind of long route, unless you're really tough. I'm tough enough, but you know, it's you tailor it to the day you have. This is a lovely short view of Gaviara. This is cutting down into the town. You cut down at this point the football field, and they've made the path safer and less steep, which is kind of a good thing. A lot more people can now nip up that track and enjoy this bench with the view over the town and towards the sea. And there it is. The road down is a bit dull, but the view of the town is lovely. And on the way down into the town, you get little corners with flowers and gardens. This is the Plaza del Carmen, and I'm going down here onto the right. And you see little things. I love quirky flower pots and flower decorations, garden decorations. My partner hates these sorts of things, but I think it's so fun to see plants in teapots and things like that. And I love seeing flowers within the town itself. It brings wildlife into the town. It rejuvenates you. It might not be as good as wildlife and wildflowers, but I just love it. This is the road that's leading out of town past the hotel. You get to the Ermita San Anton, which you can just see there, and that will bring you to the start of what we call the goat path, which I can just see here, and that leads you almost on the contour back towards. This is a mulberry tree. Mulberry trees must have been really common here because this was a major area for centuries producing silk. Malaga brought silk cases from their silkworms, fed on mulberry leaves, to Granada, and that was a major trade. Yes, sorry about the ostrich. Somebody keeps an ostrich, but I hate to see it because it's a running bird kept in what is a tiny patch of land. It seems so sad. It's such an appealing thing to see this kind of track. You just want to walk on it. Here's another blue bandwing grasshopper. Look how much darker it is than the one we saw before. Colour is no indicator of species in grasshopper. It develops based on the substrate that they develop on as nymphs. So it's quite variable. Here I'm now actually all the way back to Canillas. I'm cutting down on where there's that peg, and this is the first house in Canillas. Just a simple, maybe 7-kilometre walk, really enjoyable to do in the summer. I hope you enjoyed this overview. Perhaps click like and subscribe. Keep hopping. Bye.